Dr. Jack, how are you? Another
I'm
awesome
great.
podcast, and we have breaking news. So you brought our breaking news person to us, didn't you?
Oh, Gilda's a fantastic addition to the movement. To have a woman in the movement is fantastic, and her views and her opinions and her enthusiasm just couldn't thrill me more.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're excited to have Dr. Gilda Carle back on the program. Go ahead with the topic that Dr. Jack, I guess, Dr. Gilda, what's the breaking news that fits into his show?
Well, the breaking news is that some woman who is suing Diddy has now told the whole world that he has a little tiny Tootsie Roll for a penis. You know what that does to a man to hear such a thing and to put it out among everybody who reads and writes and watches the tabloids. This is the biggest curse a woman can get back to a man with. Imagine.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to defend any of Diddy's actions, but that's almost, hitting below the belt. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Pun
But, but,
definitely,
but
pun
she
definitely intended.
but she's suing him for rape. So she may be a little angry. But
Yeah. I
there's
mean,
anger and there's anger. Holy smokes, that's bad when you call out a man's member. Because, I understand among you men, you can never be big enough, tall enough. I mean, you can never be bold
And I
enough.
I would also say, Gilda, it's like you can never meet women's expectations. And if a woman says it's true, suddenly it's magically true. I have no idea about what's going on with Diddy, but for someone that's if you don't have anything nice to say, just go after his little penis.
Well,
Oh, he's a two pump chump. He's a just you hear so many of these things of I mean I've spent my whole life working with women in the OR and we talk a little crap in the OR and in the office with women. And that's what they say, like, oh, this guy, he's got a little penis, he's got two pump chump. Get over it. If
well,
you if
but
we
when it
were if we were to do the same thing to women, we'd be castrated.
you already are the way the radical feminists are.
Yeah, for sure.
So you have to understand, though, in the context of what's going on, he was abusive toward women. We have enough testimony out there in the news about what has happened. He's in jail for a reason. And this other woman, whose name is Jane Doe, so we don't even know anything about her, this other woman has come forth and she's looking to get back at him. And how we can only get back at men the best way is to insult their member.
Yeah.
But that gets a little tabloidy. To me,
Well, that's
however,
I mean, Gilda, you come from that world. You were a writer for National Enquirer, right? This is, I love how you're bringing some scandal to the ultimate men's movement here, because these are the things we have to battle, I love it. Bring the tabloid news to us, bring the paparazzi to us. 'Cause we're not dealing with that. We're dealing with truth. We're dealing with men and men's issues, and we're dealing with facts. And these are things that sell newspapers, but yeah,
uh,
it's
we're
not something
all
I'm gonna bow to.
we're all rubberneckers into other
Yeah,
people's lives. We don't have royalty here in the United States. So what do? We gawk at the headlines on the newsstand to see, oh, what's happening now? What can I learn from this? And most often, most people would like to compare themselves to what's going on in other people's lives, just to make sure that, I'm doing pretty well. I'm
yeah.
doing okay. So,
Well,
That's because most people
well,
have a miserable life that have not accomplished anything. There you go. But
yeah.
there you
But
go.
if
well,
Diddy if Diddy wants
there's a lot of that going around.
if Diddy wants a procedure, if this is true, we can fix that. You know,
Well, you
we
see now,
we 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 talked about this with Dr. Loria with the male enhancement procedures. We have ways to improve girth. So women don't have that excuse anymore. They can't, men have a way to kind of get around that.
Dr. Jack, is it only girth that is increased? can you ever extend the
N-
penis to a
No, you can't.
larger size?
There are little hacks you can do. You can cut a ligament, but then it's just there's not a good way for length, but with the enhancement, the penile skin is made to expand. And most of the time it's sitting there in a unexpanded state, in an accordion state. But what the filler does is the filler just provides, that it fills up that skin even in a flaccid situation. So it fills up that skin more, so it increases the girth, but does
So
not
even if a guy
prolong.
has a Tootsie Roll sized penis, apropos of what we're hearing about, Diddy, if that's the case, even if you increase the girth of the penis, then can he still walk around feeling bold if it's
Well,
still a little tiny wide one?
I don't think I have any right or privilege to talk about anyone else's member if they're not a patient of mine. And if they are a patient of mine, I certainly can't talk about it. But
Right.
in general, like I said, a filler procedure, an enhancement procedure can increase the girth, which increases the stimulation for the female. If you go to our podcast with Dr. Loria, we go into a lot of details. That the clitoral nerves go in and are more stimulated with a more girthy penis. That's the bottom line of that. Um,
Penis, I like that expression.
there we go.
You ought to put that on your website.
Wow, and this is what this is firsts for
You get me in
sure.
trouble. You
As
get
we're
me in
talking
trouble,
to
Gilda. You're here to get me in trouble.
all these. Next, the FCC will be muting, going ahead and doing things. Okay,
Yeah.
so best place to find you, Dr. Gildas, go where?
drgilda.com, drgilda.com.
And the Ultimate Men's Clinic in New Bedford, Massachusetts, but anywhere people can go check it out by going to theultimatemensclinic.com. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks again.
Thank you,
Thank you
Neil.
both.